What is up, everybody? My name is Gabriel Lopez, and today we have a very strange video. I'm just going off the title of the video, but today's video we got the strangest courtroom moments of all time. I decided to go back on this courtroom stuff. So yeah, the creator is his name is Courtroom Consequences. So if you guys enjoy this video, don't forget to like his video, like my video, subscribe to his video, and subscribe to mine. If you guys want to see any more like this, I'm gonna do it regardless. So without further ado, let's get into this video.
Just give me
Hope
one
everybody's
second.
doing good today.
I'm parking
and
right now.
So maybe I don't understand something.
Yeah, hopefully everybody's
This is
doing
a
good
driving
today.
while license suspended.
That is correct, Your Honor.
Mr.
Hello?
Harris, are you driving?
Yes, I am.
All right.
First, we go to Washtenaw County District Court in Ann Arbor, Michigan, where a hearing is about to begin. Next up on the docket is 44-year-old Corey Harris, who logged in virtually from his car.
Mr.
Hello?
Harris, are you driving?
Actually, I'm pulling into my doctor's office, actually. So just give me 1 second. I'm parking right now.
The routine hearing seemed uneventful until Judge Cedric Simpson noticed something odd.
Okay. So maybe I don't understand something. This is a driving while license suspended.
That is correct, Your Honor.
The
Driving.
back.
And he didn't have a license.
He's driving without a license.
Turns out,
Hey, he
Harris
calls
was
into
appearing
the
on
court,
charges of driving
calls
on a
into court
suspended
with,
license while actually driving a
driving the car.
That is with the charges, Your Honor, yes.
No, I'm looking at his
Yes.
record. He doesn't have a license. He's suspended and he's just driving.
That is correct, Your Honor.
Both Judge Simpson
my
and the
oats for
defendant,
today.
who wasn't supposed to be driving, were utterly
Thanks
confused
to
by
my
the
girl.
situation.
I don't even know why he would do that.
Eventually, the judge revoked Harris's bond and asked him to turn
that's
himself into
pretty
the county
stupid.
jail.
So defendant's bond is revoked in this matter. Defendant is to turn himself into the Washtenaw County Jail by 6 p.m. today. Failure to turn himself in will result in a bench warrant with no bond.
The video
What a
went
dumbass. He
viral.
should've just
Harris
parked
became
and
an
then
internet
called.
meme overnight.
I've been assaulted. I've been followed. I've been laughed at. I've been ridiculed. I have been disrespected.
After spending 2 nights in prison, Harris returned to court, where Judge Simpson set the record straight.
The person that needed to be blamed is the person that he was staring at in the mirror. He didn't do what he should have done. When they suspended his license, and what people don't understand, when they suspended his license in Saginaw, they don't suspend the license. They suspend the privilege to drive in this state. His license was his driving privileges, better stated, were unsuspended in 2022. That required Mr. Harris to do something. He didn't do it.
Turns out, after Harris's suspension was revoked, he never paid the clearance fees with the court or the Secretary of State to lift the suspension. What's more crazy is the fact that Harris never even had a valid driver's license in the first place.
He has never had a Michigan license, ever.
Motherfucker
And has
just
never
started,
had a license in the
said,
other
fuck
49
it.
states and commonwealths that form up this great union.
And if that wasn't all, Harris also had a warrant against his name from 9 years ago, which even his lawyer wasn't aware of.
He's got a warrant.
No, I did not know.
Yes, he has a warrant for his arrest.
The charges? Well, you'd have guessed it by now. Driving without a valid license.
The shocking thing about it is for a driving while license suspended that he didn't take care of. I'm going to take him into custody on the warrant.
Ultimately, Harris was sent back to prison for the 9-year-old charges. 2 days later, he was able to secure a learner's permit license. While Corey Harris's bizarre trial ended on a happy note, what happens when a defendant walks into court wearing something he's accused of stealing?
You're charged with stealing a Dolphin jersey?
No, ma'am.
It show on that I ain't took no jersey. I ain't took now jersey.
Like in the case of Nelson Walker, who was facing third-degree
Motherfucker
theft
don't.
charges
You
in
don't
Miami,
know?
Florida. Walker was arrested after he and a friend were caught stealing Miami Dolphins merchandise worth over $300.
Oh my
Now in
God,
bond court,
dude.
Walker was facing Judge Diane Ward. And quite incredibly, he walked in wearing the same jersey he was caught stealing.
All right, you're
What a
charged
fucking idiot.
with stealing a Dolphin jersey.
The judge seemed suspicious at first, but Walker had an explanation for her.
This ain't the one, young.
No?
No, ma'am. It show on that I ain't took no jersey. I ain't took now jersey.
Not convinced, Judge Ward asked the public defender to weigh in.
Public defender?
As to Mr. Walker, respectfully, Your Honor, we're going to be raising probable cause issues.
The public defender, equally confused by his client's wardrobe choices, instead raised a probable cause issue, stating irregularities in the arrest report.
As to what?
As to this being a felony, because the allegations are an observation of observing the defendant and co-defendant put on a dolphin hats. The officer says A, and then says hats, so there's an issue as to whether it's two hats or one hat, but clearly the allegations are the co-defendant.
Perhaps Judge Ward would have been more sympathetic if Walker didn't have 29 other prior felonies. Ultimately, the judge held Walker at a $5,000 bond and perhaps more harshly, banned him from the Dolphins Stadium for life. While Nelson Walker's questionable attire sent him
Take
to
your ass
prison,
to jail for
how does
stealing
it
a
compare to
fucking
faking a
Miami
heart attack
Dolphins
in a
jersey, bro.
courtroom?
Your Honor, excuse me for a second. I need some time.
Like in the case of Keeson Wilkins, who is facing assault charges in Dayton, Ohio. Facing multiple charges, including felony assault after he tried to murder a man, Wilkins was representing himself at trial.
Do you have any witnesses here present today?
No, Your Honor.
When Wilkins asked for more time to prepare his defense, Judge Mary Catherine Huffman straight up refused.
I had months to research this matter. This is why I suggested to you that you have counsel.
This is because Wilkins had repeatedly tried to disrupt earlier court proceedings.
Do not speak out in court again.
He said the court was being unfair to him and made claims of being lynched.
Your Honor, would you please ask the bailiff and the sheriffs
No,
to just go get a tree and bring it in here?
We are going to take a break.
Just miss the hanging, make the lynching, you know, because this is a lynching. I mean, this is a modern day lynching.
Please get your focus. Now it's...
That's what it is.
You are not to speak, sir.
Modern day lynching. Knock it off.
Wilkins had already delayed the trial for 3 consecutive days, and now Judge Huffman had had enough.
I have repeatedly advised you, sir, that you will lose your right to represent yourself because of your conduct. Do you understand that?
No, Your Honor, I don't.
Yes, you do understand.
But Wilkins saved his best for last.
She informed me that she had family in another part of Ohio. She did not provide me with that information now.
As he was questioning a witness, something seemed wrong with Wilkins.
She never provided with you. Excuse me, hold on a second. Your Honor, excuse me for a second. I need some time.
And then, Wilkins suddenly collapsed, clutching his heart.
We're going to take a break, ladies and gentlemen. If you'll please step out.
Court medics examined Wilkins and caught his fake.
Based on your examination, do you have any concerns?
No concerns at all. He may need some water.
Judge Huffman seemed unmoved.
Defendant is feigning some
Like Kevin Hart.
medical condition.
But Wilkins was not done. He then acted unresponsive and slumped in his chair.
Defendant is slouching over to the side and acts like he's sleeping. His breath appears to be
I'll tell you like this.
Doesn't appear to be labored in any way. Is that a fair assessment, sir?
Yes.
Not labored in any manner.
Yes, Your Honor.
Does he appear to be doing anything to you other than sitting in that chair?
No, Your Honor.
Then, a court deputy made a genius move to wake him up.
Fucking Narcan.
Oh, a remarkable change.
A strong dose of smelling salt brought Wilkins back to
smelling
life,
salt?
and the trial resumed.
Mr. Wilkins, do you have any questions for this witness, sir?
But Wilkins just kept staring at the deputy.
You can see that.
I'll take that as a no, sir. Thank you, sir. You may step down.
Judge Huffman reminded him that his ruse was up.
You've been checked out by trained deputies who are medics. You've been checked out by a registered nurse as well as an emergency medical technician, all of whom indicate that there is nothing physically wrong with you, nor any reason why you couldn't continue here, sir.
Said his actions will not cause a mistrial.
To make some effort to cause a mistrial, but as I advised you, sir, and as the case law is very clear about, your behavior will not cause a mistrial.
And finally, gave him an ultimatum.
Sir, in 5 minutes I'm going to start again, with or without you.
Despite his best efforts, Wilkins was ultimately convicted of all charges and sent to 42 years in prison. While Keeson Wilkins' legal career ended with a hefty jail sentence,
like
what happens when a
dumbass.
defendant lights up a joint in court?
Yeah, call him. I can't give you one. There's somebody.
Hey! We the people deserve better.
Take him to jail. Take him to jail.
Like in the case of Spencer Allen Boston, who's at the Wilson County Courthouse in Tennessee on a drug charge. 20-year-old Boston had reportedly received a citation for simple possession of marijuana during a routine traffic stop.
He said he wants to represent himself in this case. I told him today was just an arraignment. It's either guilty, not guilty type day. To which he responded, I just want to plead my case to the court. So he didn't want to talk to me after that, so that's why he was.
Boston was representing himself and wanted to plead his case.
Start talking, son.
Yes, sir. I think it's very unfair, the marijuana law here. I think we the people deserve better because marijuana is a very harmless drug, and it's been around for ages, since the 80s and 90s.
Turns out, Boston wanted to argue about marijuana law, but the judge was having none of it.
I've heard that baloney all my life, so don't go any further on that.
Yes, sir.
I don't know whether it's good or bad. All I know is
Yes,
Tennessee still has it against the law. I swore to uphold the laws, and I have to uphold the laws as a judge. It probably is unfair, but I can't change it. You got to go see the legislature to get that changed.
The judge then shifted focus to the case at hand.
Now, if you want to plead guilty, you can today. But if you want a trial, we can give you a trial on the officer's day, which it's Officer Vincent.
Officer Vincent?
You want to fix the trial day?
Yeah, we can do that.
That'd be fun, and then you make another stick.
As the judge became busy scheduling a trial date, Boston decided to take matters into his own hands.
Seeing Boston's sentence for a simple possessions charge of marijuana. And then Boston reaches into his pocket, pulls out a joint, lights it, and starts smoking right there.
Incredibly, the defendant whipped out a joint and lit it up in front of the judge. As a court bailiff restrained him, Boston held the burning contraband up to the gallery with one final message.
There's somebody.
Hey! We the people deserve better.
Take him to jail. Take him to jail.
For his efforts, Boston was sent to 10 days in jail for contempt of court and was hit with an additional possessions charge. While Spencer Allen Boston pleaded his case with a live demonstration, what happens when a woman gets arrested for laughing in court?
And sit here at a tragic moment like this and laugh and smile when somebody has lost a family member. I mean, the entire time that Mr. Zerker's sister was speaking, that clown, and that's what I'm going to call him, a clown, was sitting there smiling and laughing.
Like in the case of Amanda Cosal, who's accused of causing a deadly crash in Detroit, Michigan. On June 2016, Amanda had a fatal head-on collision with 31-year-old Jerome Zerker and his fiancée Brittany Johnson while driving under the influence. Tragically, the crash took the life of the father of 5, while Brittany was severely injured.
It was like a banging. Everything was just over.
The 25-year-old later pleaded guilty to operating under the influence, causing death. During Amanda's sentencing, Jerome's sister Doreen read a powerful victim impact statement written by his children.
Amanda, look what you did to my life. You ruined everything I had, like my dad's life.
While Amanda seemed to be moved by Doreen's words, a couple in the court found it amusing, enraging Judge Kiana Lillard.
And sit here at a tragic moment like this and
Not
laugh
even
and
the
smile
defendant,
when
the
somebody
fucking
has
family.
lost a family member. I mean, the entire time sit here at a tragic moment like this and laugh and smile when somebody has lost a family member. I mean, the entire time that Mr. Zerker's sister was speaking, that clown, and that's what I'm going to call him, a clown, was sitting there smiling and laughing.
It was Amanda's mother, Donna Cosal, who was sent to 90 days in prison for direct criminal contempt.
Ma'am, you are being taken into custody for criminal contempt. And you, ma'am, are going to the Wayne County Jail for 93 days for direct criminal contempt. Anybody else want to go? Try it.
Judge Lillard then had some stern words for the Cosal family.
This is a court of law. And these are very serious matters. And I understand you all are upset.
Why the fuck she even
because
dressed
your
like that
loved
to
one is
fucking
going
court
to
in the
prison.
first
But
place?
guess
She's
what?
looking like a fucking
She's going to
stripper.
prison for the choices that she made. These people are here grieving, saddened, because a senseless act took away their loved one, and you all are sitting around here like it's a joke?
After order was restored, Amanda was sentenced to 3 to 15 years in prison.
So it'll be the sentence of this court that you will serve 3 to 15 years in the Michigan Department of Corrections.
The following morning, Donna appeared before Judge Lillard.
Case number 17-1629.
She seemed a changed woman after just one night in jail.
Yeah, she got smacked in the fucking face for that shit, dude.
Discharge the contempt hearing, Judge.
All right. Ms. Kosa, is there something you'd like to say?
Yes, I deeply apologize for what I did. I was under a lot of stress. I'm going
Shut your ass
through
up.
some doctor's appointments today for my heart. It's just everything overwhelmed, and I deeply apologize for what I did in your court. I
I'm
just
like
needed
RFK
to get
Jr.
out. It's been very hard
Right,
for
RFK
me
Jr.
this
Or
year,
RFK.
and I know for
RFK.
the other
I'm gonna just say
family, and I'm so sorry for what I did, and I know it was wrong, and I apologize.
After
Shut
the
the
apology,
fuck
Judge Lillard
up.
had a few words of wisdom for the defendant.
What you have to understand is, as hard as this is for you to see your baby going to prison, imagine what that family feels like when their child's dead.
I understand that. I feel for them too.
So I hope that you've learned a valuable lesson from this, and I hope that it will serve as a message to anyone doing business in the Frank Murphy Hall of Justice, or any court for that matter. That
And
there's
92
just
more
a
days to
matter-
go.
Things have to be conducted in decency and order. You can't come to court acting a fool. I know people watch a lot of shows on TV where you see different things happening in make-believe courtrooms that give people a skewed sense of reality, but this is real life here, and we just can't have people behaving like that. It can't be tolerated. So I will modify your sentence for direct criminal contempt from 93 days to 1 day with credit for time served, and you should be released today.
God bless you. Thank you.
Thanks.
And I apologize very solely and for the other family. Thank you.
You're welcome.
It's
While Donna Cosal spent a night in
She's
jail
fucking-
for laughing at the victim's
Dude, like,
family, how much time would a
shut the
defendant get
fuck
for driving
up.
through a crowd of people?
I literally saw roughly 10 people bounce off of that car, and you could hear thud, 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 thud as he drove through that. And you could hear it, which is a sound I'll never forget.
Like in the case of Daryl Brooks, who's facing mass murder charges in Waukesha, Wisconsin. On November 21st, 2021, 39-year-old Brooks drove a red SUV
crazy, and
into
this
the
motherfucker
annual
looks
Waukesha
retarded,
Christmas
bro.
parade.
Yo,
Onlookers
fuck.
caught the whole incident on camera.
Dude looks
First,
dumb as
Brooks
fuck.
narrowly missed a little girl dancing by the side of the road. Then he plowed through a marching band, leaving
Oh, why is
multiple
she
people dead or injured.
Police have identified the driver of this SUV who plowed into a crowd at a holiday parade in Waukesha, Wisconsin, as 39-year-old Daryl Brooks of Milwaukee.
His rampage continued as Brooks hit a group of pom-pom girls dancing in the parade. The SUV then sped away, leaving behind a scene of utter chaos and
That's
destruction.
fucking nuts, bro. That dude is fucking retarded.
Eyewitnesses immediately called 911.
About 10 to 15 people down in the street. We also got multiple critical patients.
Some of the survivors later recounted the horrors which unfolded that day.
so many like bodies in the road, and then I saw them like start to pick them up, and they were like little kids.
I literally saw roughly 10 people bounce off of that car, and you could hear thud, 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 thud as he drove through that, and you could hear it, which is a sound I'll never forget.
In the end, Brooks's rampage killed 6 people and injured 62 others.
God
he was soon
damn,
arrested from
bro.
outside a house in
Fucking
Waukesha.
dumbass.
Put your hands up! Hands up!
Oh, it's light that motherfucker up, dude.
Get on the ground! Get on the
He said, I just woke up. Wait, fuck you mean wait, bitch? You over here fucking hitting everybody. Didn't say wait to nothing. Kill the fucking kid, little bitch boy.
Brooks's trial was filled with
And then he
bizarre incidents.
yeah, and then he
First,
fucking starts
fired
acting
his
like a
lawyers
fucking
and represented himself
crazy
as a
motherfucker,
sovereign
which he
citizen.
is. But he starts acting like too much. Like the motherfucker's stupid.
Yes, I do.
Then he
He acts
frequently
all hard.
disrupted court proceedings.
Effectively and with dignity preside over this case here today. I am
object-
well
I
aware
object
that's another
respectfully, Your Honor.
interruption. I'm
I-
well
I
aware.
object
Stop
respectfully, which
talking.
I have the right to.
At first, Judge Jennifer Darrow gave him a warning.
Brooks, you're advised that continued interruptions will result in you forfeiting your right to be present in this courtroom, where you'll be taken to the courtroom next door to appear by video and audio
I don't
means to
consent
participate.
being removed from the courtroom, Your Honor.
That's another
And
interruption.
you haven't shown me any lawful case law that I can be removed from the court.
Mr. Brooks.
But eventually, she had enough and removed Brooks from the courtroom.
Mr. Brooks.
Motions I filed haven't even been responded to. I gave.
Mr. Brooks, you're
3-day
interrupting me
No,
yet
you
again.
just weren't
All right,
speaking, so I didn't
Mr.
interrupt.
Brooks, you are now going to be removed to the
I
other
don't
courtroom.
consent to that.
I have
I'm
had
under
a
duress.
dozen
I
or
haven't
more interruptions.
Throughout the trial, Brooks's outbursts continued.
I'm not, because that's a lie.
Let him
Because at the
finish.
end of the day,
Let
if
him
we
finish,
gonna open the door
Mr.
on that, no,
Brooks.
since he want to make a record and not be accurate, so let's be accurate on the record since you think you know so much.
Once
So
again,
we can
Mr.
open the
Brooks
door
is
on.
being
We can
loud,
open the door on how old she told me she was when we met.
interrupting.
We can ask that question
He is
too then.
over the
Did you
top
ask that?
animated
Did you
right
know
now.
that?
Mr. Brooks,
The
I'm
fuck
ordering
is
you
this
to
dude
sit
talking
down
about?
and to let the
No,
state finish.
no, I'm not going to sit here and let somebody be inaccurate on the record and lie on the record.
Right. Under Illinois versus Allen, I've warned him repeatedly. He's being removed from the courtroom.
After an eventful trial, the jurors eventually reached a verdict.
Dated today's date, signed by the foreperson. Did the defendant commit first-degree intentional homicide while using a dangerous weapon? Answer, yes.
During sentencing, the mother of the 8-year-old boy killed in the tragic incident addressed her son's killer.
You're a child killer. A woman killer. I cannot wait until somebody inflicts that harm on you.
Judge Darrow said the community would be safer with Brooks locked up in jail.
Frankly, Mr. Brooks, no one is safe from you. This community can only be safe if you are behind bars for the rest of your life.
Bro, these fucking
This court is
dumb.
imposing a life sentence without the possibility or eligibility for extended supervision consecutive to one another.
Ultimately, Brooks was served 6 consecutive life sentences without the possibility of parole, plus an additional 762 and a half years
God
behind bars.
damn.
While Darrell Brooks's trial was filled with crazy moments, how does it compare
Yeah.
to twerking in front of a judge?
What the fuck?
Like in the case of Calvin Lloyd Griffith, who's in a
Oh,
Florida
yeah, he
court
got red
facing
Kool-Aid on
charges
his
of
lip,
grand
bro.
theft auto. Police said 30-year-old Griffith allegedly broke into a local school and stole an employee's car. Now at his bond hearing, Griffith appeared before Miami-Dade judge Catherine Pooler.
Mr. Griffin is charged with burglary, petty theft, grand theft of a vehicle, and trespass. And he's on probation.
He's out on probation, Your Honor.
Yeah, I'm on probation. I'm on papers.
Okay.
Office being here anyway because I smoke weed and cocaine.
Before Griffith talked himself into something silly, his attorney turned his mic off. As Judge Pooler looked over the paperwork, a muted Griffith tried to get the judge's attention.
Okay. You're Calvin Griffin?
Mr. Snyder is the button press.
Oh, okay.
When that didn't work, the defendant took a slightly unusual approach. To everyone's amusement, Griffith started dancing in the courtroom.
Bro, for
Less than
sure.
impressed, Judge Pooler showed no emotion and set Griffith's bond at $18,500. He was also ordered to stay away from the school.
Stay away order from Miami Edison Senior High. If you should get out, do not go back there. You're not a student anymore.
While Calvin Lloyd Griffith impressed everyone with his slick moves, what happens when a defendant comes straight out of Hollywood?
You don't have a lawyer.
All right.
I mean, okay, so...
I didn't feel like signing the paperwork. I'm really not in the mood for that.
For that, we go to Miami-Dade, Florida, where a bond hearing is
Joker
underway.
from Temu, bro.
The next one is, this
Temu
is
Joker.
Lawrence Sullivan.
Present, Your Honor.
Pardon me? Oh, this is Mr. Sullivan?
29-year-old Lawrence Sullivan, a self-proclaimed tattoo model who resembled a certain Batman villain, was arrested on weapons charges after police received a report that he was pointing a gun at moving vehicles.
All right, good morning, Mr. Sullivan. You're charged with one count of carrying a concealed firearm. I've appointed the public defender's office to represent you. I'm going to be taking a look at your arrest affidavit to see if there's probable cause and address your bond status, sir.
Sullivan refused the services of the public defender by channeling his inner "why so serious" attitude.
You don't want the public defender's office to represent you?
I mean, they can represent me, but I'm trying to get bonded out, My Honor.
Well, they're there to help you, sir. You don't have a lawyer.
All right.
I mean, okay, so...
I didn't feel like signing the paperwork. I'm really not in the mood for that.
But Judge Maria Dennis, perhaps resembling the Dark
damn, my
Knight
hand
in a black
hurts.
robe, gave the defendant a much required reality check.
Okay, well, you're in custody, okay? You're charged with carrying concealed firearm, which if convicted has some serious consequences. They're there to help you. The purpose of today's hearing is I'm going to be taking a look at your arrest affidavit to see if there's probable cause to hold you and then address your bond status, okay?
Unsurprisingly, it turned out that the real-life Joker had previous run-ins with the law.
Okay. All right, it looks like he has a prior for possession of cannabis, it looks like back in 2006, 2013.
The public defender argued for a pretrial release, but Judge Dennis was having none of it.
But on a firearms charge, I'm not going to do pretrial. Setting standard bond, $5,000.
Eventually, Sullivan's bail was set at $5,000, and the man with the permanent villain grin was sent back to prison.
I low-key want to see...
While Lawrence Sullivan's appearance didn't faze the judge, what happens when a defendant makes the entire courtroom laugh?
And then he sued me.
Like in the case of Dolores Shyness, an 80-year-old woman who appeared at the Broward County Bond Court in Fort Lauderdale, Florida.
I wanted to see his new tattoo.
Shyness ended up in jail for resisting arrest after violating a restraining order filed by her ex-husband.
Ma'am, you've been charged with resisting arrest and violating an injunction.
Judge John Hurley soon realized he had a feisty old lady on his hands.
Does she have any priors?
No.
Ma'am, I'm talking to the prosecutor right now, all right? So just give me a moment.
Sorry.
After reviewing the case, Judge Hurley let her go with a warning.
Ma'am, I'm going to find probable cause. I'm releasing you ROR to pretrial release. You're going to have a GPS ankle monitor on. That's going to ensure that you have no contact directly or indirectly with the protected party.
I'm trying to look for that dude's
Abraham
fucking face tat.
Shyness. You are not allowed to call him, text him, email him. You are to stay 500 feet from him at all times. That's where he lives, where he works, anywhere in between. Ma'am, you're getting a second chance on this case. I don't particularly feel like keeping an 80-year-old woman in the jail who has no criminal record. But this is your second warning. Don't go around him again.
Shyness then stated her case and had a back and forth with the judge.
Say something, Your Honor?
Go ahead, ma'am.
Mr. Shanus, Abraham Arthur Shanus, and I have been legally divorced for 31 years,
okay.
And I have the papers to prove it.
Got it.
We both resided at 2102 Lucaya Bend, and he paid for the apartment entirely. His assumption is because he paid for the apartment, he's entitled to do as he pleases.
Can I tell you? I can't get in the middle of who owns the apartment.
I know, that's not the point.
My
The point
is,
I'm telling you.
I need to keep you away from him, all right?
I haven't bothered him for 31 years. Why would I bother him now?
That's a great question. That's the $63,000 question, ma'am. Just don't have anything to do with him. Stay away from him.
I swear to God and all that's holy on a stack of Bibles, I will never go near him, talk to him, call him, or
What was
even
the
look
first
at
thing
him.
you were going to swear on besides the Bibles?
All that's holy.
What?
I don't remember.
Oh.
What?
All that's holy.
What?
All that's holy. Yeah.
Oh, all that's holy. Yes, sir. I didn't recognize your twang.
Judge Hurley also complimented the old lady.
Have you ever thought of doing a stand-up routine? Have you ever thought about that?
I did. Well, if you pay me good money, sweetheart, I'll be there. I'm really short of funds.
Ma'am, I got to tell you something. You seem like you have a great wit about you.
I do, sir.
Yeah, so...
I mean, sweetheart, that's the only thing I have.
I've been called sweetheart in this courtroom since, I guess, Mr. Miller took over. But,
Really?
Just kidding.
Does that mean you're taking me for breakfast?
Then the judge asked the defendant for a review.
Let me ask you something, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
How have I done as a judge today? So far, how am I doing?
Not bad, but you could do better.
Okay. Can we get a drum roll with this?
Before leaving, Shyness had one last punchline to deliver.
I gotta tell you, you brighten my day, ma'am. All right?
That's what the last guy said, and then he sued me.
The entertainment continued when Shyness appeared in court the next day.
Oh, hello, sweetheart. You look fantastic tonight. Did you grow a few inches? Because you look taller.
How are the accommodations?
It's called the very fancy name horrendous.
However, the case took a darker turn when Shyness's daughter, Beth, took the stand.
She's very entertaining one moment, and the next moment she's threatening to, take you down. My mother has mental disability, and she needs a hospital, not a jail, and she needs to be put into a hospital, and I've been trying to do that for 6 months to no avail in the state of Florida.
Ultimately, Judge Hurley decided to send Shyness to a mental health facility.
It's not going to be any harm to you, but they're going to take a look at you and come to a determination. Probably today or tomorrow, and then
I would say today, sir.
While Dolores Shyness thoroughly entertained a Florida courtroom, how does it compare to smoking a joint during court proceedings?
This motherfucker's rolling up. I said, nah, just rolling up my own cigarette. I'm rolling up my
For
own
that,
blunt.
we head to the district court in Ann Arbor, Michigan, where a virtual hearing is underway.
Mr. Lane, please state your name for the court.
Anthony Lane.
36-year-old Anthony Lane, charged with drug possession, was facing Judge Cedric Simpson to waive his right for a probable cause hearing.
How you doing?
Yeah, a waiver for continued plea negotiations and resolution in circuit.
You understand you'll not have that hearing and you'll proceed to circuit court for further resolution?
Yes, sir.
It seemed business as usual until the prosecutor made a bombshell revelation.
People also waive their right?
Your Honor, I'll agree to waive, but I do want to make a statement on the record. It appeared that earlier in this time block that Mr. Lane was rolling a blunt and might have been smoking.
Turns out that earlier that day, while waiting for his court appearance, Lane decided to roll up a joint and have a smoke, unaware that his phone picked up everything.
He literally just snitched on himself.
While Judge Simpson handled other cases, Lane continued to smoke, at one point even flaunting it to the camera. Court officials took notice and informed the prosecutor. While recreational marijuana is legal in Michigan, Lane's bond agreement prohibited him from taking any drugs.
Your Honor, given that information, I guess we need to adjourn the PCC so Mr. Lane and I can speak further before we wait.
Yeah. I think that might be wise. Mr. Lane, you understand what's happening now?
Motherfucker fried, dude. He don't know.
Lane also had to get regularly tested as per his bond rules.
When's the last time you tested?
2 weeks ago.
You were supposed to be testing 2 times per week.
I tested back to back.
Okay, but have you tested this week?
No, sir.
Well,
Once
gonna
Judge
test
Simpson
today,
became
boy.
aware of the defendant's actions,
test today.
Lane was ordered to go to an official corrections facility for drug testing that very day.
Also been ordered that you're to report to community corrections today for a test.
Your Honor, I have no ride today.
Well, you better find somebody to get you a ride down here.
You better walk your ass.
I'm ordering a test. You're the one that brought this on yourself by what you did. So I'm ordering a test today.
Okay,
if you
sir.
don't test today, I'm going to be issuing a warrant to have you picked up.
Now, if smoking openly during court wasn't bad enough, Lane then laughed at Judge Simpson, making him even more irate.
Well, you keep laughing, Mr. Lane. I don't think you want to do that. Not with me. You better take yourself off before you think things are too funny. Thank you.
I wasn't laughing at you, sir. I wasn't laughing at you, sir.
Yeah. Thank you. Court calls case, People versus Chandler Langston.
Ultimately, Lane never made it for his drug testing that day. Judge Simpson issued a warrant for his arrest and revoked his bond.
Fuck.
While Anthony Lane couldn't stay sober during his hearing, how does it compare to getting your
dumbass.
mouth shut with
Like
tape?
you're fucking. You're literally waiting for court hearing. You're gonna roll up a fucking blunt with the camera on when
Like
you
in
have
the case
court
of
officials with
Franklin
that
Williams, who was
motherfucker.
facing multiple theft
Come on,
charges
bro.
in Cleveland, Ohio.
It's not a fair trial. It wasn't in trial. I'm not being allowed to speak how I need to speak. He's stopping me from talking. He's gagging me, putting tape over my mouth at this moment.
According to reports, Williams committed a series of armed robberies in 2014. He then led state troopers on a high-speed chase, which resulted in the injury of an officer.
Oh, yeah,
Williams was charged with aggravated robbery, kidnapping,
They'll
and
fuck you
unlawful
up.
possession. He initially pled guilty, but later withdrew his plea and fled the state.
Local man was in his second trial back in December for armed robberies in the suburbs, and he showed up for the beginning of the trial, then disappeared, cutting off his ankle bracelet. The trial went on without him, and he was convicted.
Williams was eventually caught and later claimed that he didn't flee, but rather lost his memory after an accident and forgot about the trial. Then, at his sentencing, Williams interrupted the proceedings over 60 times in 54 minutes,
God damn.
despite repeated warnings from Judge John Russo.
I just met this attorney the other day.
That's fine. So,
And
so here, yeah. So okay, I
came and took my cell phones yesterday, and they came and took all my property out my cell today.
Mr. Williams, I'm the judge in the matter. Shut your mouth, and I'll tell you when you can talk. You got it? It's the same rules we played by while we were here in trial, every time we were here for a pretrial. So just follow the same rules. Fair enough? So at this point, I'm going to hear from your lawyers, and that means zip it.
But you're not letting me tell
That
you
means
what's going on.
zip it right now.
You trying to?
Does that make sense?
No, it doesn't.
No. Does the comment quit talking? Do you understand that?
Because you trying to take my life.
No.
And you're not letting me tell you what's going on.
Take
It's
your
not
life
fair.
for what? What do you mean your
It's
life?
not fair. You're trying to take my life.
What does that mean?
And on the document.
Again, I'm going to interrupt. Mr. Williams, listen. Listen to me. If we have to, I will gag you in 1 second. So listen to me. You will get a chance to talk. I'm going to gag you in 1 second. So just listen to me. Zip it until I give you a chance to talk. You'll get a chance to talk. I am going to give you a chance to talk. Here it is again. So you said to me you understand this comment. Zip it. Right now.
Won't you let it play?
That dude has some patience, dude. That judge has some patience.
Mr. Williams will. Mr. Williams, be very simple to gag you. You'll get a chance to speak. Tell me.
Black women just walked in here.
Okay,
So I have not even been around.
Let's go
none of my
back.
peers.
Zip it. Anything you want to add to your insanity? And the
Put me on
jury
trial. That's
came
a
back with
violation
a
of the HIPAA
verdict.
law. That's
So-
a violation of the HIPAA law, Judge.
Here we go. I'm going to tape it,
Put me on trial.
and then I'll unzip it when I want you to talk. Because the young lady over here can't take down everything. You know how this works. We've been in the courtroom at least 50 times as we prepared for trial.
Finally, the judge had had enough. He ordered court deputies to shut Williams up with duct tape.
Mr. Williams, I want to make it real clear. If you spit on, attempt to bite, or injure any of my deputies,
None of that, man.
you're going to have a bad
I don't
day.
do none of that.
Oh, you
Put
clear.
the tape on me, man. We done with this shit. That's what it is.
We'll go back on the record. Mr. Williams will have a chance to speak.
And I'll be monitoring everything I say.
Judge Russo later
That just didn't even
apologized for
fucking
his
know.
decision and recused himself from the case.
Precedent for gagging a defendant to keep order in the court. I apologize for taking that action last week.
In his next sentencing hearing, Williams took the stand to plead his case.
Saying freedom of speech, no duct tape. Your Honor, I asked today, Your Honor, that I received the lightest sentence that you can give me. I want the world to know I am not an animal. Contrary to what people may think, I am a man.
But given Williams' already
But
long
like your
record
nose,
for
I'ma
this
rob that
particular crime,
motherfucker.
the judge sentenced him to
Come on,
33
dude.
years in prison.
I know you're not an animal, Mr. Williams, you're a human being, but the question the court has to determine is whether or not you've learned from those mistakes.
Before Williams left, he had some final words for the court.
Freedom of speech, no duct tape. Freedom of speech, no duct tape. With the hashtag.
While getting his mouth taped up couldn't stop
dumb.
Franklin Williams' defiance, what happens when a representative of the law commits a crime? For that, we go to the Wake County Courthouse in Raleigh, North Carolina, where visitors, attorneys, and employees of the court are entering the building through the main security checkpoint. Among them was Robert Jeffries, who was in court to pay off his court-ordered debt. Jeffries picked up his belongings and walked toward the elevator, but inadvertently dropped his wallet in the process. It wasn't until he attempted to make the payment on another floor that he realized his wallet was missing. Inside was $1,600 in cash.
And I jumped up, I said, Judy, you see my wallet? And she just started crying because she knew how much money I had on me.
Moments later, a man in a suit made his way through the checkpoint and became aware of the situation. He picked up the wallet, looked around to see if anybody noticed, and headed towards the elevator. He checked the contents of the wallet and eventually pocketed it. The man went up to the fourth floor.
$1,600
5 minutes
bet.
later was back in the elevator, this time with the wallet in his folder. He got off on the first floor and turned in the wallet to security, minus the cash, telling them he found it in the bathroom.
Somebody turned in a wallet, and then when the owner of the wallet was contacted, the money that they stated was in the wallet was missing.
Security called Jeffries and told him a man who was in court earlier that day had returned his wallet. What was that man doing in court? Defending other convicts. It turns out that the
What a
person who was caught
fucking
stealing on camera
asshole.
was none other than a criminal defense lawyer named Stephen McGilvery. McGilvery later pleaded guilty to misdemeanor larceny and was disbarred, fired from his job, and no longer allowed to practice law in the state of North
He lost
Carolina.
everything. Oh,
As for
shit.
Jeffries, arrangements were made to return $1,600 back to its rightful owner. While greed ruined Stephen McGilvery's law career, what happens when a defendant sleeps through his sentencing?
Psychological treatment.
You might know Harbor Freight for affordability. What you might.
Like in the case of Anthony Garcia, who's on trial for
I had to
multiple
change my
homicides
shirt, dude. That
in
shit was
Omaha,
fucked
Nebraska.
up. I don't even know.
On March 13th, 2008, William
Demon
Hunter
Slayer.
arrived at his home and found his 11-year-old son, Thomas, and 57-year-old housekeeper, Shirley Sherman, stabbed to death.
Yeah, sure, it was right there in the hallway between the back door and front foyer. So the first thing I just said, "Where's Tom?" I think I yelled out, "Tom."
The case went cold for 5 years until May 14th, 2013, when an employee discovered the bodies of Roger Brumback and his wife Mary inside their home.
Court with a useful frame of reference for evaluating the sentence in this case.
There's a gun clip and some bullets on the floor. I just think there's something going on in this house.
The couple had stab wounds similar to the 2008 murder victims.
Specifically with the wounds to the right side of the neck. And when I saw those, both on the male victim and on the female victim, you don't see a lot of knifings or stabbings that are like that.
Police tied the murders to one Anthony Garcia as revenge killings after discovering that he was fired from Creighton Medical School by Roger Brumback and Thomas's father, William Hunter. Garcia was arrested and charged with 4 counts of first-degree murder. Police found a hit list detailing his heinous plans at Garcia's house.
Anthony Garcia's shopping list, from the ordinary to the ominous.
As you can see here, it says invade rich house, torture, murder. Over here it says rich children, gun, invade, kill, knife, kidnap family, SUV, torture, kill.
Garcia had also confessed to a woman as a means to impress her.
I'm turning on my little voice and saying, well, Dr. Tony, I only like bad boys. I'm a bad girl. You couldn't handle a girl like me. And then that's when he told me. He told me I wasn't as good as he thought he was. He said I killed people before. He said I killed a young boy and an old woman.
After a trial that lasted 23 days,
That's that
the juror
motherfucker right
deliberated
there.
for just 7 hours and reached a verdict. Guilty on all counts. During sentencing, Shirley Sherman's son described how his mother's death had affected him.
Throw that motherfucking microphone all the way across the fucking courtroom.
Of my mom
Right on his
laying there
motherfucking face.
in a pool of her own blood with an 8-inch butcher knife hanging out her neck. I can't get those images ever out of my head. There's a special place for people like this, and I hope he ends up there.
But Garcia wasn't listening. In fact, the serial killer slept right through his sentencing.
As to count 1, murder in the first degree, a class 1 felony of Thomas Hunter. On or about the 13th day of March 2008, the three-judge panel orders that a sentence of death is imposed upon the defendant, Anthony Garcia.
Ultimately, Garcia was given the death penalty for the 4 murders. He remains on death row in a Nebraska prison. While even death couldn't wake up Anthony Garcia, what happens when a defendant opens fire in court?
How the fuck did you get a gun in the courtroom in the first place?
For that, we go to Berrien County Courthouse in St. Joseph, Michigan, where a routine hearing is about to turn deadly.
He was positive for like alcohol or something.
You just rushed in there?
Just outside the courtroom, 44-year-old Larry Gordon, who was in court on sexual assault charges, managed to wrestle a gun away from Sheriff's Deputy James Atterbury, shooting and injuring him in the process. 2 court bailiffs, 63-year-old Ronald Kinzel
That dude looks so
and
much bigger than the
61-year-old
other dude.
Joseph
Still got his
Zangaro
fucking
rushed
gun
to the
taken away
deputy's
from him? Come
aid,
on, bro.
but they were both shot by Gordon. Another civilian, Kenya Ellis, was also injured in the gunfire and taken into the courtroom. Upon hearing the gunshots, people ran for their lives. Some headed for the exit, while others took refuge in another courtroom. The armed defendant ran across a hallway and bumped into another bailiff before he fled into the very courtroom where people were hiding and took them hostage.
What the fuck is going on in this fucking courtroom? This courthouse.
Meanwhile, more bailiffs arrived and moved in towards the courtroom.
The motherfucker should have been there already. What the fuck
Gordon
is
then
going
used a
on
civilian
here?
as a human shield and tried to escape. But the bailiffs cornered him and fired several shots.
Man, their fucking ears gotta be ringing like crazy, dude.
After the dust settled, the bailiffs realized that Gordon was dead, and so were their friends.
You got another one down here. Oh my God. Oh, shit. Oh, no. Let's go. Get him over. Get him over. Get him. Stay with us, buddy. Stay with us, Ronald. Come on, buddy.
Oh man, that
Ronald
fucking
Kinzel
cop's so
and
dumb.
Joseph Zangaro later died from their injuries.
Yeah.
Deputy James Atterbury and Kenya Ellis went on to make a full recovery.
I want to expose the anatomy of a trunk.
Oh, bro, why did this fucking do this? Let me go back.
Just give me 1 second.
Alrighty then. So if you guys enjoyed that video, please give it a like, subscribe, comment down below what you want to see next. If you guys enjoyed this video, let me know down in the comment, and if you got any video recommendations you guys want to see me react to, let me know. And yeah, holy shit, that was a crazy last video. And yeah, if you guys enjoyed that video, I don't know what to fucking say, but you guys have a good day. Peace out.